Good evening, everyone. Welcome to ProTalent, and I'm Nitin Parmar. Inductive reasoning is a very crucial concept. My dear students, if you want to master the art of clearing CLAT examination, the one advice which you must follow is focus a lot on the capability to develop inductive reasoning. My dear students, I believe that this will give you a proper clarity. Yes, am I, you can say, clear to you? Yes, my dear students. Logical reasoning is a very important section of your exam. It contains certain number of questions, roughly 30 out of 150. But it is not only the logic which is applied there which will be very useful to you, but logic, what you learn in your logical reasoning will be useful to you, to your legal reasoning. It will be very useful to you in your reading comprehension. So in nutshell, 30 of logic, 30 of RC and 40 of legal, so that makes it to some around 100 questions are heavily dependent on your logical reasoning. So my dear students, don't miss out even a single session of reasoning by ProTalent. I term this as master logical reasoning because I believe the kind of method I'm providing to you, they will be game changer for you. Make sure that you follow them properly. Okay, so my dear students, today we are going to discuss about eliminating choices. Primarily, we get two very crucial type of questions and we will master for those two type of questions how do we eliminate the answers is what we will try and see. Yes or no? I am not covering all topics. Okay, today in today's session I will be covering, you can say, a very simple part of it, which is eliminate choices for two type of questions. Okay, today's session will be of some around 30 minutes. Okay, in this 30-minute session we are going to discuss wonderful stuff. My dear students, this is our fifth module on inductive reasoning. Okay, in our initial module we started to discuss about what are the, you can say, what is the meaning of inductive reasoning, how is it different than the deductive reasoning, what are the premises and what are the conclusion, what is the structure of it. And then we went to talk about, you can say, what is an assumption, how do you arrive at a right assumption. Yes or no? Then we went to explicate the argument. Okay, and then we went to discuss about finding flaws in the argument. In a previous session, session number 4, we talked about flaws in the argument. Wonderful thing. I'm sure you must be remembering that. Okay, cause and effect flaw, statistical errors, yes or no, fungibility, those kind of errors we identified. These are the flaws. Today we will go and talk about two type of questions. One is inference based questions and other is assumption based questions, and we will find out the how to eliminate choices. My dear students, inference based questions are of this format. Passage implies which of the following about falana dikna. Yes or no? The passage suggests which of the following. What can you infer from author's statement that this. These are statements. Which of the following statement can be concluded from the passage? My dear students, generally in your logical reasoning questions, okay, you will find these inference questions are always global questions and they generally refer to whole of the passage. It is not related to one specific area. If you try and we can say keep yourself confined to one sorry, if you try and confine yourself to a small area that the answer lies only at this point, it is not going to work. So my dear students, again, whether it is RC, whether it is LR, that is logical reasoning, in the new format of CLAT, it is same. It is same. So my dear students, make sure that you understand that what is this inference type of questions. I'm sure all of you understand what is inference. Let me tell you that what is inference. Inference are, you can say, very interesting statements. They are unstated conclusion any argument, ठीक है, will contain two parts. One is called premises and then there is a conclusion. Many times the premises are present to us and no conclusion is provided, but still we can reach to that conclusion, and that unstated conclusion is inference. My dear students, here we have to be very clear that in what format the examiner takes inference in the examination. Okay, let's understand this. There are different inferences. One, author's inference. ठीक है, reader's inference. Okay, look at the kind of, you can say, questions are being asked. Okay, look at the question. The passage implies which of the following? The passage suggests which of the following? What can you infer from author's statements? Which of the following statement can be concluded from the passage? Primarily, when they are using word, what can you infer? Yes or no? It clearly indicates you have to reach to that conclusion. Okay, ठीक है. While many times they are asking what is the conclusion of the paragraph. Now, conclusion of the paragraph may be stated. Okay, or what is author's inference? It may be stated. Keep this in mind. Accept this idea with a pinch of salt. That you can say always inferences are always unstated. Yes, they are unstated conclusion, but we have to rely, we have to understand what type of question is being raised in front of us. If the question is, remember this, if the question is that, look, what is author's conclusion? What is author's conclusion? Now there are two possibilities. One, either they are asking you to tell me what is unstated conclusion, or they are asking you to find out stated conclusion. Whatever it is. How do you know that is it is unstated or stated? Then you look at the options. While looking at the options, you realize that, look, certain statements are clearly mentioned by the author. Certain statements are clearly mentioned by the author, and both statements are part of the paragraph and they are clearly stated as a conclusion, and thereby there cannot be more than one answer. So you remove that. Yes or no? And thereby you search for unstated one. Okay. At the same time, you can say sometimes the stated conclusion is only one of the option. Okay. Can you mark it? I believe yes, you should. Okay. So here the inference is what author implies or suggests, the reader infers. What you and I, while reading, how do we infer is what basically the idea here. I hope it is very clear to everyone. Yes? I hope it is clear to everyone. Any question anyone has? Hello Anurag Kumar, how are you doing? Yes? Those who are attending the class, please tell me how are you doing? So my dear students, when we say author implies or author suggests, here we are talking about the inference. A valid inference must be true as per the given evidence. It is not might be true. It is not probably true. It must be true in all circumstances given in the passage. That is inference. It may be true if you assume certain things and it becomes true. But to become it true, you have to assume something. Yes or no? So here, the valid inference must be true as per the given evidence, not might be true, not probably true, but must be true. Is that okay? Is that very clear? Great. Similarly, there are assumption-based questions. In the assumption-based questions, the argument is like this. Which of the following is an assumption on which author's assertion depends? Now what did we say? What is an assumption? In the previous few sessions, we understood that there are premises which are clearly stated. There are conclusions and there are unstated premises. Unstated premises are known as assumption. Let me repeat one more time. Unstated premises unstated premises are known as assumptions. Is that very clear? Yes. So we have to find out which are the unstated premises on which the author puts his assertion. Yes or no? This is very crucial. If you are not able to, you can say, look at that unstated premise, it is problem. What is the problem? We are not able to find a connection between premise and the conclusion, and what is missing part of it, which premise is being missed out of it, and thereby we have to find out that missing premise. Yes or no? Another point. The argument above relies on which of the following assumption? Look at the word relies, which is a premise. Any argument is relying on conclusion. Premise. That means any conclusion is dependent on premises. So when certain premises are unstated, the examiner is checking that can you find out that what is unstated premise here. Yes or no? The conclusion above would be properly drawn if it were true that. Yes or no? That's another style of question. The conclusion above would be properly drawn. The conclusion, whatever is the conclusion is drawn, is properly drawn, provided if we believe that this is true. So whatever is true becomes our premises. So as we mentioned, it is unstated premises. So the question may also use other words such as flaw or questionable. They may be asking that, look, the conclusion may be flawed if we don't assume which of the following. Look at the language of the, you can say, question. They are going to put such kind of, you can say, complexities to you. I believe many of you are master at, you can say, controlling this kind of language. Our future as a law student lies with such kind of language, and that's what we're trying to understand. How do we answer? Generally, there are two types of passages available for us, which is RC passages or LR passages. Within LR, there are two types of passages, long passages and short passages. Okay. Generally, in RC, my suggestion is don't read question first, read the passage first, because it is all about your comprehension, your ability to understand what is the scenario. You develop your roadmap. You develop the mind map of the entire argument. You understand the strategic importance of various aspects in it. That's very important. Even in the long passages. Here, it is not just applicable for RC passages, but even for the long passages like your logical reasoning of CLAT. You must follow this method. If you are doing critical reasoning questions of AILET or LSAT, then you read question first, analyze the question stem, what is to be searched for, and you search that in the paragraph. I hope it is very clear to you. Great. So here, when we are talking about RC passages, LR passages, we are talking about this issue. I hope it is very clear to everyone. Is that very clear? Great. Okay. So what you need to do is, when you are looking at long passages, you read a passage looking for relevant information required to answer the question. While you are reading the short passages, what you do is you predict an answer while you are reading the words. Yes, that's what you are doing. Do you understand this? Okay, so when you are reading the long passages, you read with one purpose in mind, that is you have to answer the question. While in the short passages, what you do is you are not able to predict many times. Okay, remember, in logical reasoning, the most important skill, whether it is reading comprehension or a logical reasoning, the most important skill is predicting the answer. Can you predict is the game. Whatever is the question stem, whatever you have read, if you try and connect both the things, when you connect both the things, can you predict is the game. My answer is the students who have mastered the art of prediction are the students who are able to get good score. Yes, indeed. If you are, you can say, able to predict something, believe me, you are going to change the game for your life. Are you ready to change the game for your life? If you are ready, then make sure that you are part of this. Read the answer choices in the order and choose the answer that matches your prediction. Yes or no? My dear students, this is very important. This is a very simple process. You read a paragraph, you look at the question stem, don't jump to the options. Don't jump, don't jump, don't jump. Okay? Let me reiterate it for you. Okay? You read passage, you read a question, understand the question. After understanding, you predict the answer. After prediction, look at the option. Okay? And then eliminate. These are the steps for your, you can say, answering a particular set. Any set for that matter, any question for that matter. This is what the process you are going to follow. What is the process? Read the passage, read the question, predict the answer, read all the options. Not look, read all the options. Read all the options and eliminate the answer. Okay, any answer which matches, you can say, with your prediction, that's your answer. If the option is not matching with your prediction, that's wrong. That's not right. While this is the most crucial step, you have to master this. And to master the right prediction, I believe you must complete all the videos which I'm making for you. My dear students, I am making all these videos for your, you can say, career. Believe me, I want each one of you to become topper in the CLAT exam. If you are not putting efforts in these videos and you are spending, you can say, unnecessary time looking for books and here and there, I believe you are wasting your time. Short, you are wasting your time. Because what I am telling you is one of the most appropriate method, one of the most, you can say, foolproof method, one of the process may be longish. It is not having shortcuts. But where in the life there is shortcut? There are no shortcuts. You have to always put efforts, day in and day out, nothing else. That's what your life is. Yes or no? Do you agree with this or not? Yes, indeed. If you are agreeing on this, make sure that you don't go for finding shortcuts. Okay. So my dear students, while you are matching your prediction, mark the answer choices appropriately. Whether you are right about it, whether the answer choice is wrong or you are doubtful. Yes or no? Mark it. Either it is in your mind, but believe me, our mind is not very sharp. It cannot remember everything. We have to, you can say, put it there. Yes or no? So mark it. Either it is R, it is W, or it is D, or it is right, it is wrong, or it is doubtful. Whatever way you have to write. Okay, you don't want to put D, you want to put ovals. That's your choice. I do that. Yes or no? Every one of us are doing this. कि ये लग रहा है, ये नहीं है, and this is oval. Okay. So if you are stuck with more than one possible correct answer, go for eliminating wrong answer. Okay. Remember, we have come across many times that for every one right answer, there are 3 wrong choices. And it becomes very challenging for me to understand which kind of answers are wrong rather than which kind of answer is right. Finding out right answer is a different thing. Yes or no? But eliminating wrong answer requires altogether a different world. My dear students, believe me, if you are able to eliminate the wrong answers, believe me, you will be the master of the game. And today, I'm going to teach you that part. I took some around 20 minutes to come to this point, to give you, to get into your mind and tell you that look, Why do we need to master the art of eliminating the choices? It is very crucial. Yes, let's start to understand this. For example, how do you eliminate wrong answers in inference based questions? Okay, when we have inference based questions, what kind of, you can say, sentences may not be, what kind of answer choice may not be the right answer. For example, out of scope answer requires you to assume at least one piece of information which is not explicitly stated in the paragraph, known as out of scope answer. Out of scope answer can reach there, but you have to assume certain things which is not explicitly mentioned. So if it is not explicitly mentioned, you cannot go further. You cannot go further. Let's look at the example. Curbing government spending has been demonstrated to raise the value of country's currency over time. Okay, when you curb government expenditure, okay, it is increasing currency's value. However, many economists no longer recommend this policy. A currency of lesser value causes countries' exports to be more competitive in the international market, encourages domestic industries, making economy more attractive to foreign investment. So why the economists are recommending this policy? Because economists are assuming, economists are believing that if currency's value is low, if it is a devalued currency, if it is a devalued currency, it is good for the exports, it is good for domestic industries, it is good for making our economy attractive to foreign investment. Okay, so here limited government spending can also lead to a reduction in national deficit. Can this be a right inference? Limited government spending can also lead to a reduction in a national deficit. Government is spending some money and we are saying, yes, you are reducing the spending. But remember, how will it reduce national deficit? National deficit has two parameters. One is revenue and the other is expenditure or spending. Yes or no? Here we are looking at spending is to be reduced. But what happens to the revenue? If revenue is getting affected in a good way, we have to understand this. This is very crucial. Okay, if revenue is, you can say, increasing, will we, you can say, get into reduction in deficit? We don't know. Therefore, we have to be very careful about this issue. Okay, so this is not a valid inference, because to reach to this valid inference, we have to assume that revenue remains constant. Okay, this is what we have to assume. Another point, another wrong answer coming from the question. Okay, wrong direction answer might provide a conclusion that is opposite of what the argument says. Okay, so here the argument is curbing government spending, but it is not good, as some economists are saying. Curbing government spending can make countries' exports more competitive. Okay. Now here it is a wrong direction answer which is providing conclusion that is opposite of what argument says. It says that the currency of lesser value causes a country's exports to be more competitive. It is saying while curbing government spending, if you curb government spending, it makes country's exports more competitive. No, country's exports can become more competitive if your currency is devalued. It is not because of less, you can say, government spending. Yes, less government spending has one, you can say, possibility that the currencies are devalued. Yes, it is, curbing government spending, in fact, increases, it raises the value of the currency. while increasing the value of the currency, it cannot make your export more competitive. This is entirely a wrong connection is getting developed. This is another standard way of reaching to that inference. Another example, the answer might switch terms or otherwise propose faulty mathematical or logical reasoning. An increase in the value of a currency will result in a reduced government spending. Increase in the value of currency will result in reduced government spending, or ulta, it is reduced government spending results in increase in the value of the currency. पूरा उल्टा है. Yes or no? This is altogether very different. It is altogether all the switching of the terms. This is also not an appropriate answer. Okay, so look at this. The same paragraph. Which of the following is the most logical and rational inference that can be made from above passage? Number 1. Limited government spending can also lead to reduction in national deficit. Wrong. Curbing government spending can make countries' exports less competitive. Okay, that's also wrong. Increase in the value of currency will result in a reduced government. Wrong. Curbing government spending can make countries' exports more competitive. What is the appropriate answer? My dear students, please tell me what should be right answer out of this. I have already given you the answer, okay, in my previous 3 slides. Yes, please tell me what should be the answer. The answer is, when you curb government spending, what will happen? You have increase in the currency's valuation. When currency valuation rises, your exports are becoming less competitive. Answer would be Bombay. Is that okay? Comfortable for everyone? My dear students, this is very crucial. This is very crucial for us to understand that how do we reach to a conclusion. Yes, okay. The other 3 options, having, you can say, wrong connections, having illogical points. Limited government spending can also lead to reduction in national deficit. We have to assume new information. We need new information. Therefore, this is not right. An increase in the value of currency will result in reduced government spending. This is switching terms. Okay, this is switching terms. Switching cause and effect relationship. Curbing government spending can make a country's exports more competitive. When you curb government spending, okay, it is not making, you can say, exports more competitive. It is all the more, it is creating more trouble. Okay, so the only answer would be Bombay. Similarly, when we have to eliminate wrong answers in assumptions, what we need to do? Look at the argument provided here. Economists have noticed that countries with more developed cultures of entrepreneurship and risk-taking have higher economic growth rates. Economists have noticed that countries which have more developed cultures of entrepreneurship and risk-taking have higher economic growth. Therefore, they have concluded that cultures of entrepreneurship and risk-taking generate higher rates of growth over time. Okay. Therefore, they have concluded that cultures of entrepreneurship and taking risk are generating higher rates of growth over time. What is an assumption? Many times the assumptions are tied, you can say, in a wrong way to conclusion or are not at all tied to a conclusion. The answer choice provides an assumption that is not actually necessary to the conclusion. What is a conclusion? The statement after therefore. Therefore, they have concluded that the cultures of entrepreneurship and risk-taking generate high rate of growth. Countries with high economic growth rate typically have low unemployment rate. No connection to the conclusion. We are not bothered about unemployment rate. No, we are not bothered. So therefore, this is not a right, you can say, assumption for us. Another wrong assumption people provide is wrong direction. The answer choice provides the opposite of what you are looking for. The answer choice provides the opposite of what you are looking for. For example, the inference is higher economic growth rates in the given country tend to result in increased level of entrepreneurship and risk taking. What are they saying? They are saying when you have a higher economic growth, okay, it results into this. We understood that increased level of entrepreneurship and risk taking are causes, and these are the effects of it. Okay, these are the effects of it. They are wrong. Okay, not acceptable. Same is the case, switching terms. Okay, look at the point here. 90% of company X employees take some form of public transportation to get to the work. Of those who take public transportation, however, fewer than 5% take the bus. Therefore, company X should not subsidize bus fares for its employees because not large number of people are taking the, you can say, bus. Only a small number of people would benefit from company X bus fare subsidies. Here, switching the term. The problem here is the assumption is that only small number of people will benefit from company X bus fare subsidies. Okay? Now, the point here is when you can say company may subsidize bus fare for employee, large number of them are not taking bus right now, may come in. That is very important. Okay, that is very important. Okay, switching terms. The answer choice is replaces the fundamental term in the argument with something that seems like synonym. Here it says only small number of people would benefit. This is wrong. This is not an assumption. Why it is not an assumption? Because it is already stated that 5%. Every one of us know it is a small number. That is not an assumption. That's a fact. This is fact. Okay, so here we have an example here. When news periodicals begin forecasting a recession, people tend to spend less money on discretionary purchases. So when newspaper starts talking about recession, people will start, you can say, spending less on their discretionary purchases. What is the meaning of discretionary purchases? Man marji ka kharcha. Therefore, the perceived threat of recession decreases the willingness of people to purchase products that they regard as optional or luxury good. Okay, so the conclusion is there is a perceived threat that recession is going to come. That perceived threat will decrease the willingness of the people, okay, which are known as optional goods or luxury goods. With reference to above passage, which one of the following assumption can be made? There are more luxury goods available after recession is forecast. Wrong. Okay, how will we say this? Okay, if we say this, there are more luxury goods available, we have to believe that there are already goods are available and people are not purchasing it. Recently, the threat of recession has been increasingly publicized as the news periodicals have grown more pervasive. But yet there is a threat of recession is published in the newspaper. Now, if it is published or not, it is immaterial to us. Even if there is a threat, small threat, we have to accept that this threat is resulting in this. Okay. People's perception of threat of recession increases when news periodicals begin forecasting a recession. People's perception of threat increases. Okay. People who spent most money before recession was forecast were among those who curtailed their spending after recession became apparent. Okay, so the conclusion is the perceived threat of recession decreases willingness of the people. People's perception of threat of recession increases when the news periodical does this. Okay, what is a perceived threat? Perceived threat is this news periodical. So better answer would be C. Yes or no? Hello Kamal Bardwaj, how are you doing? Yes, so answer is C, that what is a assumption can be made. I hope it is very clear. Great. So my dear students, in today's session, we learned one thing very interesting. One is called, you can say inference, other is called assumption. How do we eliminate? What are the varieties of the reasons on what ground we can eliminate is what we discuss in this module. In the next module, I'm going to give you more practice on this. Don't miss out to go through next modules with us. Okay, how did you like this session? Please tell us whether you like this, whether you understood the concept or not. If you have any query or question, please put that into comment box And don't miss out to like this video, subscribe to our channel, tell to large number of people to be part of ProTalent. Okay? Thank you for coming here and watching this. All the best for your preparation.